Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am in my October on the go planner with my budget and food log. Time to set my monthly budget. So I am all ready to set up my budget for the month, and what I'm going to be doing is basically going in here and updating my monthly numbers. And so I have it set up right here. This stuff right here is actually my food log, so I'm going to take that out actually. And then what I'm thinking of doing is, you can see this side I actually wrote on, and I've already started decorating the pages for budgeting. And so what I'm going to do is, I think, paste in, glue in, tape in, whatever, a sheet over here, so that way I can be able to just kind of use this double spread right here. And I was looking through my just random filler paper here, and I saw this sheet right here. Now this sheet is just kind of an old, you can see it's like an old priorities sheet that had like top 5 checklist, all that type of stuff. But I think what I'm gonna do is turn it upside down and just kind of lay it like that. And I'm gonna grab some glue and tape this down. I just think it makes a lot more sense for me to kind of use it with the dot grid, just because it will match the divider. And I am going to go ahead and use the divider. Sometimes, I mean, I have to actually flip through these dividers. Some of the dividers I'm not sure that I even use. I have used mostly none of them. Like most of them are like blank, but I think I did use, towards the beginning, I did use some of these dividers. I don't actually know anyway. But this combo, like on the go planner, I just do want to set up and be ready for the beginning of October, which is like in like a day. It's like happening very, very soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. I am going to go ahead and use this divider too. I didn't do a great job of gluing down either, but I'll still be able to write. And I thought this dot grid would work because it's the same size as the dot grid on this side, but this is an old planner. This is actually the divider from October 2021. But one thing that I noticed is, like, if you take a look at the dates here, I think that it's really just off by a day. So I know for sure, just because it's one of those holidays that I have to keep up with kids, is October 31st is a Monday. So I thought what I would do is just go ahead and keep this in place. I brought white out, and I would just white out this section. I'll probably go back in and just put like a little bit of like a thin washi or something like that, and just make it like a Monday through Sunday. So it'll be Saturday, October the 1st, and I'm pretty sure that's correct. Let me double check in my actual planner here. Saturday, October the 1st, that's correct. So, you know, I'm just going to like ignore, I mean, I personally like Monday start calendars, so that's good. And then the only other thing is, like, way down here, you'll see obviously it has Halloween, and then of course it has Indigenous Peoples Day, but that is going to be Monday. So that's going to be Monday the 10th. And really what I'm going to do is just keep it very simple. I'm going to put, instead of October 11th, I will put October 10th, and we're going to call it done in terms of decorating. It is prepped. Okay, this is going to be a functional kind of setup here. I do have, going back to my Franken planner, my setup for all of my stuff for the month of September. And so what I have in here are like the breakdown of all the different categories and what I pull out of each month. And so all of this will get transferred to this. And I also have right here, at the beginning of each month, I like to write how much in each category I have remaining. There are several categories where I'm like completely over, but I am going to basically transfer over all of the categories. And since this is just dot grid, I'm just going to write it, probably highlight and write it. Again, keeping it very simple. I probably should pick something not quite so bright. Maybe I'll go and take a look and see if there's something a little bit more neutral than this thing. Pulled out my colors of the world. This is a set of like broad tip markers. This is the light medium rose. I actually love this. This is actually really good as like highlighter. And obviously we purchased it. Sophia loves to color, and so she wanted like all the different skin tones, but I love it because it's just neutral and it's really nice to highlight with. So I'm going to transfer basically all the categories over, and because this is kind of a DIY, what I'm going to do is probably just list each category highlighted, and then I'm going to list how much goes into each account, and then leave 2 lines. One line is going to be the beginning balance, which I won't list on here just because it's not quite October the 1st yet, but on October 1st, I'll go in and list the actual dollar amount for each of the categories. That's like the dollar amount plus like what money I add in October, like from each category. So like the total dollar amount. And then at the end of the month, I'll leave a second line to mark how much got pulled out or used in that account. So hopefully that makes sense, but I'll go through all of them with you. And again, all of these numbers are like pretty much the exact same. I'm not making any changes to my numbers for the month of October. So I'm just going to continue with the changes that I made in July and have continued for July, August, September, and now October, so 4 months. So we've been doing pretty good. There are multiple categories, as I've already mentioned, that are over budget. The big ones right now with my current budget is going to be my house stuff. We did purchase a house in July, and we have not sold our old house, although you know we're starting to see some movement. Like we're seeing that people are going to view the house, and we just heard that you know there is one offer, so it could be where you know it will eventually be sold, and so I can put the money back in here to rebalance this particular dollar amount. But the first category here is house and home improvement. What I put in here every month is $245, and that's really just to make house improvement stuff. I have been using it in the past couple of months to be able to like pay for like big items, big ticket items, not necessarily appliances, but like just like minor upgrades for like an additional bedroom and an additional bathroom. And so that money has been there. And obviously we had to pull out money from savings for like the down payment, things like that. So we're definitely in the negative right now. Again, I won't put the beginning balance, but the beginning balance will go right here. Actually, I'm wondering how I should do this. I think what I'll do is try to like write as much as I need to and then like save a spot, because I forgot that I need to have a spot for bills. So I'll probably use like maybe a portion of this for bills, but I will need a space essentially to like total like what I am rolling over from September. And then add 245 to that, and then I'll need a line to be able to list the ending balance, like what I have in that category, October 31st. Now, all of this kind of happens basically as the month kind of transitions, but I basically need these two lines. And in fact, I think I'll leave a third line just to space it out a little bit. So it's 1, 2, 3. And the next category will be, I love this color, such a nice pink. I think it kind of goes well. It's not exactly a match for this color, but it's really, really nice. All right, the next category in this general realm of like house stuff is going to be house decor. So these are like house decorations. Right now we're gearing up for the holidays, and so I like to actually buy like tchotchkes, decorations, like wreaths, that type of stuff. And so every month I put $25. And again, I'll skip 3 lines for that. If you want to see the actual numbers, I do show numbers generally speaking in my after the pen flip through. So every month I go through and you know discuss all of my numbers. I do also try to like do you know update videos with numbers and things like that, but for the purposes of this video I'm recording it a little bit early, so I don't actually have like final numbers for most of these, so I can't really give you those numbers right this second. So the next category, the third category here is car maintenance. All the things that I need to do for tires, engine, all that type of stuff, you know. And every month, $75 goes in there. All right, and then I can skip 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna have, as this next category, I'm terrible at like outlining, or highlighting, but it's totally okay too. So for the next category is gas. Gas gets $135 each month. I'm gonna actually go back in here and put a month. Okay. And these 3 categories right here, we're doing okay. Like none of these categories are over budget, so that's really good news. All right, and then 1, 2, 3, and we'll do a couple more. So this next one, oh my gosh, like that was a double highlight. That was terrible, but that's okay. Is health. Part of that is just like it's catching on this table right here. Like there's, I don't know if you can tell, but like there's a little dip right there. So yeah, that was terrible. I'm actually going to, because I really don't like it. It looks over highlighted, if that makes sense. I'm gonna white out some of that. Okay, the whiteout is better in my mind than like the extra color. Okay, so this category, health, is basically all my medicines, any doctors, co-pays, all that type of stuff. And so every month, that's $50 per month. And again, I think we're doing pretty good in this. I actually, as I'm writing this, I really think I should just give you at least the update for right this second where we're standing. And you can see the final numbers when I do the final flip through. So if you really want to see these numbers, like stay tuned towards the end of the video. I'll do some updates, just like verbally, because I want to write the actual real numbers when we get there. Okay, and so the next category here, I only have like 1, 2, 3, 7 more. Okay, so this one. I should have used a ruler. All right, it's going to be food. And food basically covers any groceries, any dining out. And this is $200 a month. I always like to explain, because it is a very low amount, that I only budget my personal spending and any joint spending. My husband has a separate budget for his stuff, and he pretty much does most of our food budgeting, and so, or like purchasing. And so he is the one who spends more on groceries than I do. But it's basically all of my eating out and then any food that I contribute from my personal account into our household food kind of pile. And so that's why it's 200, only 200 for the month. And so then here is fun. Even with that being said, $200 a month definitely wasn't enough. That's one of the categories that I was way over. Even like starting like beginning of September, it was like way over. So the next category is fun. Fun, also way over. One of the big problems with fun, it's not really a problem, but I mean, it did happen, was that I was miscalculating. I thought I was considering canceling my Wild University subscription, and I waited too late to make the decision and essentially got charged for the annual fee, which was right around $200. And so that was a huge hit to the budget at that point. But in the next couple of months, it should kind of like rebalance itself. And I do use cashless envelopes. And so these categories, some will be over, but some are like way under. And so as long as a total picture, I am under budget across all categories, I feel really good about that. All right, so the next category is gifts. Gifts, I'm saving money right now for Christmas and like birthdays. And so we have a significant chunk of money in there, so that's really good. Again, like right now, the categories that I'm over on are this one, because of the down payment, food and fun. And I'll double check at the end of the video if there are any others, at least at the time of the recording of this video. All right. The next one is going to be Sophia. Sophia gets a personal allowance from me. I basically give her $20 a month to buy all her toys and things like that. And so she has been doing well. We have not been spending a ton of money, so that's good news. It's not so much that she's saving, it's just I don't take her to the store as often, and so she's not picking up random stuff here and there. I also told her like Christmas is coming up and her birthday is coming up, so we need to be able to kind of like let other people buy for her too. So that's always, you know, something that's she can kind of look forward to and anticipate. Okay, and then vacations. Vacations was in July, one of the categories that I ended up like basically not deciding not to put any additional money in. So it's essentially a sinking fund now where I have money in there that I'm just not using. And so it's at a $0 amount for each month. But we do have money saved in here. Since I am pregnant right now, we aren't traveling. There's not a ton of like vacationing that we're doing. And so yeah, there's still a lot of money in that account. And again, for the purposes of budgeting, using a cashless system, as long as overall I'm not in the red, I'm doing pretty good. And so like with like, it's about like $500 in here. If I'm over in food by 100 or 200 or 200 here, that still is, you know, net $100 because like vacations has 500 and these total was 400, you know? So again, like I'll give you some of the actual numbers as I go through in just a second. Okay. And then last one, I think I said 7, but there's only 6. I counted food as 2 categories when I was like just looking quickly at my classic size planner. The last one is education. Now, education, I'm definitely over. I ended up having to pay my annual licensing fee, which was like, it had increased by quite a bit and I didn't realize it, and I just didn't have enough money in here. But we are also like deciding, like Sophia decided she didn't want to do any kind of extracurricular activities. And so I'll continue adding $100 each month into this category. And it will basically be used to pay down the like, I guess the red where I paid $280 for my licensing fee, and eventually it'll go back into the black, and it'll be again like, as long as overall all of these dollar amounts equate to where I still have money in these cashless envelopes, I feel good about it. Okay, and then the last little section here, I'm actually going to see, I definitely need 1, 2, 3, and I'll skip down to like maybe like right here. We have a ton of bills right now because we are paying bills on like 2 different houses. So I'm just going to list all these bills right here. Now, normally what I do, and I'll show this in my classic planner, right? So what I do is on the monthly spread, I list all of like the bills that we have, and we have to like, September was kind of the first month where we had to pay the mortgage and like double the amount of bills for basically 2 houses, like the old house and the new house. And so there was a lot of like numbers on the classic size, or like in the September spread, where like there were stickers that I put down, I couldn't pull them back up, but they needed to be listed differently. And so I'm just gonna, for the time being, I will make sure that I have room for all of these things, but I want to put them in like chronological order so that way I'm keeping track of it. I did end up like, luckily, I got a phone call reminder saying I need to pay a bill, but I didn't realize that I had missed the bill. And so I really need to go through and double check that I'm paying like twice, like basically 2 bills, you know, like utility bills. For like the old house, I'm getting a set of bills, and for the new house, I'm getting a set of bills, plus like all the general like online services that we have and internet, things like that, things that we did cancel from the old house that we're only getting 1 of those. And so I just have to make sure that in October I'm double checking those things. I won't list them in this video just for the sake of time, but I'm gonna go through and run through these numbers and kind of talk to you about where we stand. Again, it's not the end of September quite yet, although I don't know that I'll be spending a ton in the next couple of, like in the next week. And so it could be that these numbers are pretty much exactly the same, but I'll give you like real dollar amounts here. In terms of like home and home improvement, again, we like put down a giant down payment for our house. So we're in the negative by quite a bit, like a giant amount. Don't even like to talk about that number, but it's in like the 50,000s. Okay, so like hopefully we sell our house soon and can like rebalance that and put that back into the like back to 0, and I can just start building up the 245 each month. Okay, and then home decor, I have not purchased a ton of stuff for the house, especially like holiday decorations, that kind of thing. But for home decor, we are now at $124.07. So that's pretty good. And yeah, again, I'm not going to put the dollar amount here because I really liked it to be like exactly October 1st. What is the dollar amount on October 1st? So I'm not going to put it here. And then car maintenance, I have had no issues with my car, knock on wood. And so it's a brand new car that we purchased in June. And so for car, I'm pretty sure I won't need to spend in the next in the next week or 2. But car maintenance is at almost $500, so it's like $496.98. And so again, like because this is cashless, that basically means I have $500 floating in my checking account that I can use for some of these other like overbalanced dollar amounts. Okay, so that's car maintenance, again $496.98 right now. All right, gas I know is edging very close to 0, but let me see. Okay, so in terms of gas, I'm flipping through my like classic size planner to give you this total. It's not super close to 0, so it's right around, it's $111, approximately, like a couple of cents. I just was trying to do math in my head. So it's about $111. And so this dollar amount can actually probably go down. That might be an option for me. Okay, I mentioned that this one was actually in the black, but that's not true. Okay, so I ended up having to pay for a couple of medications for my pregnancy that were way more expensive than I thought. So I do put in $50 a month, but I ended up buying a lot of like pregnancy related items, and I classified it all as like health items. And so right now I'm in the negative by $44.39. So again, I do have money in other categories to be able to use here. So it's okay to be in the red. I just wanted to, at the end of the year, by December, end of December, be in the black. I want to be able to budget year long and have these categories make sense for me for the entire year. So even though there are fluctuations month by month, as long as they are like not crazy over by the end of the year, I'm really happy about that. Okay, so then food. Food is super crazy. I have like spent so much money on food, mostly because like with September and like starting work and like just not having enough time or energy to be able to cook. I've just kind of like went a little bit crazy with like fast food, and like also like I made several huge like grocery purchases. And so for right now, and again, this is not the end of like September or the beginning of October, but like right now we are in the negative by $151.21. So not only have I spent the $200 per month, I've spent all rollover money, plus I've spent pretty much all of October's money, minus like maybe $49. And so that might be something that I need to consider adjusting, so I could decrease gas, increase food, or I could just be more cognizant of food spending and not spend so much in October. So that's something to watch out for in October. Now for fun, again, I kind of already talked about this, but like I did get my annual membership like renewed for Wild University. So that was $192. And that's the bulk of like why it is like way over. But like right now for fun, I don't know if I said fun or food, but like for fun, and again, this is not like at the very end of the month, but right now it is in the negative by $173.71. So if you think about it, like 173, definitely the major cost there is because of the $192 fee from Wild University. Without that charge, I would be in the black. I would be in the positive. But that category will again readjust itself in the next couple of months. I really need to try to destash, sell some stuff, try to earn some money somewhere to put back into this category, so that way it's not like crazy negative in the next couple of months. Okay, and then gifts. I have spent a couple of items like nieces, nephews, birthdays, that kind of thing. And so right now it is at $700.22. That is the bulk of the money that I'll be using for Christmas. So $700 essentially for Christmas, which I think is a good amount. I try to be very thoughtful and deliberate with not going super crazy over budget with Christmas. And so that's the dollar amount. Going into October, I will add another $100. I will add another $100 in November and another $100 in December. So that'll be right around $1,000 for Christmas gifts. So that's a good amount, I think. All right, and then Sophia, I already mentioned I have not taken her shopping, so she has not been spending a ton. So right now she is at $35.98. And then for vacations, we have not taken any we did go on vacation for Labor Day, and so I did spend some money there, and so our vacation total right now, or at least my budgeted total, what I put towards vacation, is $465.73. And then I already mentioned that education is way over just because I paid like this $280 fee, and so we are in the negative for education right around, let me see, it is negative $260-ish. All right, again, I'm doing some of the math in my head. And so again, these dollar amounts are like real numbers, just so you can kind of hear where my life is like. You can hear that there are some categories like gifts has $700, Sophia has money, vacations has like about $400, and then gas had a little bit of money, but then some of these other categories are like in the negative. But across all of the categories, I am still in the positive if I exclude this house, which I do. We use savings for that. I just count it in there just because at some point I want to replenish our savings. And so this was a savings category, but the rest of it, we definitely, like if you look at it across the board, I'm still in the black. It's just I didn't bother moving money around just because I use cashless envelopes. It's not necessary for me to do that. I really want to see the real numbers of what I'm spending in each category, and not shuffling money around all the time and like kind of like creating a like variable budget every single month, if that makes sense. So yeah, so that's it in terms of like my categories and like dollar amounts at this point in time. I will do a flip through of my budget. Normally I do that at the beginning of each month for the previous month. So at the beginning of October, I'll do a flip through of my budget section of my Franken Planner with these numbers in it. And I also will go in here and list out my bills. And I mentioned in several other videos, but one of the things I'm going to be doing for the rest of this planner, for these kind of like pages, is I'm going to adapt it to where I essentially list out each individual expense. And so the way that I'm going to be doing this, I really have spent some time trying to think about this, is I want to be able to list out the date, I want to list out the description and basically the store where I purchased something. So it'll be the store and like a short description. So I'll put like Walmart groceries, something like that. I want to be able to have a dollar amount, of course, and I need to list the category that dollar amount is being pulled from, and then a subtotal. The subtotal is the subtotal for the category. So when I, for example, spend $15 from my food category, I want to be able to subtract that $15 from food and have a running total of what should be in that cashless envelope. And so I do this by like each expense. So hopefully that makes sense. One thing that I do want to be able to add on here, and I'm not gonna write it in because I think what I'm gonna do is just basically check mark it, is I need to be able to keep track of now all the online purchases that I have, just because I do a lot of Christmas shopping on Amazon or online. And so for each of these like items, as I receive it, I'll just put a check mark kind of next to it to make sure, like, I mean, some items like groceries, things like that, obviously I purchased it and it's right there. But some items that need to be tracked online, I will go through and check it. One of the things that I've done in September, which I think has been working, I might continue doing this as like an alternative to the check mark, is to not subtotal out that category until I receive it. But I think I might run into issues of like overspending if I don't have a subtotal. So that's why I'm thinking of moving to like just kind of a check mark to make sure that I'm receiving items and, you know, like everything that I've ordered, I've received at some point. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. I do plan to use each box with just like these 5 pieces of information, and I'm just going to use it for each box. Some boxes I've decorated more than others, and so I won't use those boxes, obviously, but we're gonna just go through and use them like that. All right, I will go through eventually and like write out these dates too, just because they're not necessary for the way that I'm doing it. I'm gonna list the date in each individual box. So that's kind of my plan for budgeting. This was kind of a longer video, but I felt like it was necessary to be able to like have my numbers on hand, know the bills, and like be able to check off the bills, make sure that they're being paid, because I ran into that issue this month with new bills coming up, and being able to like list and track like what's going in and out of each of my categories, but also making sure that I'm tracking my purchases. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, a little bit of a chatty, longer, more detailed video, but I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.